Welcome to the Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Emmett Muckles. Please visit iTunes, Stitcher, or emmettmuckles.com to listen to all the episodes for free.
Ladies and gentlemen, today on the Billionaire Lifestyle, my guest is Eliyahu Jian. If you are looking for vital transformations, he's the guy. He is a life and spiritual coach, motivational speaker, and advisor to people of all ages and backgrounds. His goal is to empower people to be the best version of themselves, create stronger relationships, achieve career success, and create healthier lifestyles by developing a spiritual connection. Please stay tuned with my interview with Eliyahu. Everybody has a perfect customer. Your mom has a perfect customer. It's her kids and her spouse. Your sister has a perfect customer. It's her friends, depending on what part of her life, or it's her family. In business, you make a business for a perfect customer. So when you wrote this book, who's the perfect customer for this book?
That's a good question. Who is the audience? Who is the perfect customer for this book? As I wrote in the book, it's for people who want to make a change with themselves. It's not with people who want to make a change in the external. It's people who are willing to look inside and say, hey, wait a minute. I can be a little bit more happier. I'm willing to forgive. I'm willing to move on with life. And rediscover the happiness, rediscover the power, rediscover the billionaire from within. This is for those people. And if the people want to make money, this book can help them. Absolutely. Because I believe when you make a transformational change from within, you attract different type of people. And it depends what's written in the book. It depends how you're reading it, from what point of view you're coming from.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult question to answer and to basically to say it exactly who is it for. But if I have to answer it, I will say for transformational, meaning people who are willing to change, willing to transform, willing to grow, willing to go to the next level in all area of life.
So you originated in Israel.
Yeah.
Then you came to the United States.
Yeah.
What similarities do you see in people that would bring this book to manifestation from you? Because, as you travel around the world, you see some things that are very different, because I've traveled around the globe and I see very different things, but then I see a lot of things, especially socially, that are the same. So for those who have not traveled out, and they need to understand we're all in the same boat, what have you seen that could bring this world together in this transformation?
I believe the first step is forgiveness. If you're not capable to forgive, you're not willing to go, you move forward. That's the first thing I say to everybody whenever I give a speech in China or London or Amsterdam, wherever I go. If you're not willing to forgive, you're stuck. And I'll tell you why. In the old days, you used to have those hot air balloons when you take it off the ground. And if you don't let go of those sack of sand, it's not going to go anywhere. You're going to get angry, I know. But it's going nowhere. You're stuck on that. Say, how come I'm not flying? I am not flying. Because you just didn't let go of something. So if you get stuck, like I speak in the second chapter of the book about forgiveness, and many people, when they read the book, they get stuck in that chapter because it's very difficult. You cry a lot. And you realize that when you're not forgiving someone, you're stuck at that time for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And I remember when my father was sick with Parkinson and Alzheimer. So before he passed away, I asked him as a confession, I said, is there something you're sorry about? Is there something you feel bad about? He said, there's only one thing. And I said, what is it? He said, I could be a little bit better toward your mom. And, when you hear somebody before they die say that, it's a different type of forgiveness. There's more forgive yourself.
Yeah.
And when I teach people, I realize people have a very difficult time to forgive themselves, and they get so stuck to move on with life. That's the first thing every person got to do if they want to be getting into transformation. The second thing is, how do you share your gift? Everybody born with a gift. Some people want to be, I don't know, a chef in the kitchen, and they're wonderful there. So that's a gift. How do you share it? Are you share it by impressing people? Are you share that gift to help other people to know how to cook? Every person has a gift. If you don't share your gift, those gifts will come and hunt you. They will go against you.
That's a good one. And I'm glad that you brought up that everyone has a gift. Everyone comes to this plane, this existence, for a reason. And most of the things that hold us back are the things that we've experienced. And those people who have been told that they aren't worth anything and they begin to believe it, it begins to seep in, or that they'll never measure up, and it's hard for them to find their gift. Can this book help them?
Can this book help them? Of course, because when your spirit get crushed down. I remember, I can tell you a story about myself. I bought a guitar before I even know how to play. My parents look at me, and growing up in Israel, my parents came from Libya, North Africa. So, it was not in the tradition in my house to play guitar. Nobody play guitar. You go to work, you make money, guitar. As my mom tell me, what kind of voice you have to play guitar? So, good point. So I basically went to work and get some money and start to play flamenco. But at that time, if you want to get a girl, nobody will listen to flamenco. Those days, there's no flamenco. Either you play some pop song or some famous song, and then it's okay. So my parents basically crushed me, not because they meant to crush me. They crushed my spirit that I can never be into music. I remember when I moved to United States, when I live in Los Angeles, I built a band, actually. It was a band that we named the band Waste of Time. They didn't do so well. And we played some guitar and drums and everything, and it went okay. We did a few shows. And the reason I tell you that, because whenever somebody comes to crush your spirit, that's your chance. Take your chance. You can rise above that, or you can listen to those crush talk and bury yourself. It's a great opportunity. Leaders are not born from good event. Leaders are only going to be born from terrible event. Terrible event has to happen to it. If you not have a terrible event in your life, you're not ready to be a leader, because it's not what you achieve in life. It's what you overcome. I used to coach a famous football player, and he had some issue with the game and the coach, whatever it is. And I remember when I used to talk to him, I said, hey, listen to me. What is you need to overcome there? Once you overcome there, this is make you a star. Forget about your game. Just overcome your issues. And that's the answer for each and every one of us. We need those wrong people to come and crush us. Not because they're right, because it's telling my spirit, can I overcome that? And if I can't, then maybe I don't want to, something blocking me. So within this book, again, there is a chapter, the whole chapter, that basically called Empowering Desire Through Friendship in chapter 6. And in that, help people by making friends, by understanding how they can empower themselves and empower others, and other people empowering you. You're going to make it. But if you only want good event around you, which a lot of people in this generation looking for perfect event, perfect picture on Instagram, perfect picture on Facebook, it's nice, it's motivating, but it's not building anything. It just adds something. We need to build our spirit by going to some event that try to crush our spirit, and through that build ourselves.
Now, some people go through that basically in life, and I like how what you just said, because it segues into a question that formulated as you were speaking. Here in the United States and much of the industrialized world, things have become really easy for people. There's no tigers chasing us. We really don't have diseases until now that are really wiping people out. I mean, like, we're living in one of the safest, easiest periods in recorded history. Because of that, people are easily dissuaded from things because they're comparing themselves to others who seem to have, and quote unquote, seem to have made it. What do these people need to go through? because they haven't been through anything. Usually you go through something when you're a child, you go through something when you're a teenager or a preteen, then you go through another set of circumstances when you're a teenager and even an adult. But there are a lot of people who haven't even scratched the surface of having to really grit and bear down with it. How can these people, through your book and through vital transformations, make a transformation?
The idea is what you mentioned now. This is a very tough question, and it's an easy answer, but not easy to do. And when people come to see me, whatever, through Vital or through the book or through the coaching, I always tell them, let's double the desire. Which means, for example, if they come to see me for money, so they say they want to make $300,000 a year. I said, let's start talking about $600,000. And then they panic. In that moment, they start panicking. That's great. I'm very happy. So I become the devil advocate for them. And I'm pushing them for the $600,000. And let's say they make $320,000 in the end of the year. Okay, so they made more than they want to achieve to begin with. So I show them and say, okay, this $20,000, that's your reward for the effort that you make. I'm looking only at the 20. I'm not looking at 300 because they already built the desire for the 300. They need a desire for something above that. Yeah. Let's say if it's a relationship, they're afraid to approach a girl or to approach a guy or something to work. So I said, let's start talking, double it up. Everything you have to desire more than what you want. So whenever I go to teach team in a hedge fund or I go to teach a team in whatever it is, you don't have to go to a circumstance of difficult time like right now with a virus or with people are against or for something, and here we go together, and here there is a lot of things that you can do on your own without going through pain. All what you got to say to yourself, okay, I want more than what I have now. And by wanting more, not from a greedy point of view, wanting more to increase my desire level. Your desire is the best challenge that you can have. And if you just fulfill your desire now and be happy about it, you're dead. You just not been buried yet, but you're dead. But in the moment that you desire more, that's it. You're back to life. Now you are alive. Because if you look at the baby, when the baby is born, the doctor put the finger to see the fist of that baby is strong enough to hold that finger, that show desire. When somebody dies, what we do with them, we open their fist to make sure that they no longer have desire. So we learn something from that the difference between a dead person to a living person is one thing, desire. You don't have problem in your life, you don't have to have problem in your life. You don't have to go to tough life like me or like others. But you can basically increase your desire. So between what you want and what you wish to have, there is a gap. That gap, that's your misery right now. And through that, you grow to one level to another. I hope I make it clear to everybody and to you.
Yes, I'm going to tell you why it's clear. Because it is for those who need it. Those who need it will understand it. Because, some things you have to digest. And as I go through the information, as I've studied you a little bit, vital transformations come up. So vital is about living. Transformation is like going from one state to another.
Nice.
A lot of people won't get that. I mean, it's so obvious to me, but just for someone who is new to your concept, new to us, what is, in a nutshell, vital transformation, and what is the purpose for someone who's just like, not getting it?
Well, I mean, vitaltransformation.org is organization. First, it's a non-profit organization. It's a free web for everybody to go ahead and study. There is lectures there which are super easy to beginner. And I don't want to say beginner or layman to insult anybody, but sometimes you have to look at yourself, where do I start? So we make sure there is about 40 lectures for beginners. And then as you dive in, it becoming deeper. And then if you dive a little bit deeper, it becomes really, really deep. So I always recommend to everybody who touch that, start from beginner. Please don't jump to the deep part because there is language and vocabulary from 4,000 years ago, which are so deep. And it will be no good for anybody just to jump into that. It takes years of study and years of understanding. Nothing to do with wisdom, nothing to do with being smart or not. It's just there is a certain way to grow toward that. And eventually, you're going to get it right. So the vitaltransformation.org is basically a web organization that where we give a chance for people to go ahead and study. And the reason I did that, because there's so many web like that out there that are wonderful, but they cost money. And some people don't have money. I didn't grow up with money. I grew up in a very poor neighborhood. So I realized, and I always want to study and to know, but I didn't have the money. I want to make sure that people will be able to go and study and don't have the excuse of, I don't have, I cannot afford it. Just study. Just go ahead. Just press on it, enjoy, and have fun. And once you see it's changing you, of course, tell others and do something and share that. And the idea is to make a difference in the world. We can only change this universe through education. That's my personal opinion. Education is the answer for this universe. Our world needs education, need leaders that lead to education. And unfortunately, the greed make the educator confused.
Yeah.
The educator get confused. It's not that I don't believe there is bad people, but sometimes we go through pain and suffering and become greedy for money and pride. So the idea of vitaltransformation.org is to help everybody through the beginner lectures, step by step, read my book, and eventually the proof is in the pudding, as New York teach me so well. In the end of the day, if your life changed because of that, we did it. If it's not, just say goodbye to it. You don't have to continue. My product is for people to become better. If after, let's say, you try 10 sessions and it's not working, say goodbye. Don't continue. It's not for you. I believe in it. I believe in something has to be immediately working for you. And that's why I created, after 30 years of work, I created something so simple. What's difficult about coaching is to create something so simple for everybody.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of your teachings are based in the Kabbalah. So, and that's a very ancient teaching. And a lot of it is from coming from original language. Was it involved with you that you had to, really deep spiritually inside to say, how can I make this? Like you said, you made it simple, but some things don't translate one to one, and you had to break this down because these teachings are old and we've survived this long. What was the moment that you said, I am the bridge?
Good point. The moment was when I started going around Israel and I said, can somebody teach me this wisdom? And everybody said it's forbidden. This is 5,000 years old. It was before Jewish, before Christian, before Muslim, before Hindu, before anything. I said, I know. Can somebody please give me a book? Give me something. I'm begging you. Here's the money. Just help me. And people tell me, you're not allowed even to mention the word. Then I found this book, 4,000 years old, from Abraham. I couldn't understand what is going on in this book. So I went to this rabbi and I said, Rabbi, here it is. I want to take you to dinner. Just please help me out. And he ran away from the restaurant. I said, what is going on? What is happening? I went to ministry and church and everybody. Nobody want to talk to me. So I decided to start doing more study. And as I did more study, I started meeting people who also want to study the forbidden knowledge. And then I realized it's not as being forbidden. It's just been hid for so many years that nobody would have touched. Then I had to study it and give all my life to that. I went everywhere I can to get more information on this idea. Then I find out in 1922, leave a man that they tried to kill in Jerusalem because he spread this knowledge to the majority of people. I said, I want to read every book he ever print or whatever. And that's how it started. So I devoted my entire life to know what those people have to say. And then I realized that the Christians study that, the Muslims study that, everybody study that. In the Muslim sect, they call it the Sufi. They study Kabbalah. In the Christian, they have in Ireland and in Scotland a group of people that hiddenly study, and when they find out they were killed by the church. In Spain, before the Golden Dawn, if you're familiar with that, were people who follow that. Actually, United States of America was built by a Kabbalist, George Washington. He was practiced only Kabbalah. And when you read about him, it is unbelievable.
Because of the geometry. Yeah.
Unbelievable. When you read more, you realize why they keep it as a secret. So in the beginning of my path, I start to reveal that secret, but then I realize people have no idea what I want from them. So for that reason, I make it more simple using the method of Kabbalah, but people who climb with me and go with me further, then I reveal for them more secret of so many secrets that exist, like astrology that based on Kabbalah, reincarnation that based on Kabbalah. There's so many things that people didn't even know exist. And when you study it, it's not about proving a point. It's about, wow, that piece of information can truly help me.
Awesome. Now, there are other things that come into play, because when we get into very, very, very old philosophies and theologies, a lot of times, like you said, people will say, this is not for you. This is only for certain people. And then when you really start to break it down, it's really simple things that you need to adhere to. Do you think that is the reason why they want to keep it? They want to keep us confused. There's another group that says, we want to keep this for ourselves. This is a very human thing. We got these things called egos and free will. We want to keep this for us so that, we're on top, but not them.
This is a good question. I mean, I don't want to create more fight in our country here. So, and I will be very careful with my word, but I will say that there is an evil, should I call it, not people, but evil energy exists in the world. And the mission of that evil energy is to make sure that we will eventually hate each other. That's evil energy exists from the beginning of time. You can call it the serpent, the snake, the devil, Satan, Lucifer, whatever name you want to give it. Yeah. It doesn't really matter the name. It matters that people get the concept. But it's not the person. It's not the thing. It's not something that chase you with a fork. It's an energy. And that energy is necessary to exist so we can overcome it. It's not a bad thing. It's something that exists in our universe so we can overcome. Kabbalah is a knowledge of how to deal with that serpent, devil, Satan, whatever you want to call it. And once you learn how to navigate yourself in a better way, you make it. So whenever a priest or rabbi or people say, oh, don't study, you're not allowed, it's not that they're bad people. It's that sometimes they get influenced by that spirit, by that negative energy. And because of that, they choose to say to us the wrong thing. So people cannot be evil. People just being controlled by some evil negativity. So when a person have ego, you should ask that person, did you schedule an 11:15 to have ego? He will tell you no. Is this person scheduled at 11:45 to get angry? No. So the anger or the jealousy or whatever it is, it's that evil energy that go ahead and control our mind. And by that, control our body and our reaction. And for that reason, we need to find a way to change from reactive to creative. If we change from reactive to creative, we won. And that negative energy, difficult. It doesn't let us win. And once we win that energy that live within us, that evil energy will live, we become free. And freedom is the most beautiful thing. But freedom is not just freedom to do whatever you want. It's freedom to be able to control whatever you want. Because if you do whatever you want, you're not free. You're addicted. If you control whatever you want, you're truly free.
Yes. So for those who are interested, how can people find you?
You could go on the web, either vitaltransformation.org and study with us for free. Every Monday I give a live lecture on Zoom on the web. Or if they want to do one-on-one, just, again, go on my name, EliyahuJian.com, and more than welcome. Go ahead and see me and ask me some question. Would love to see you.
Well, thank you so much. I want to thank you for being on the Billionaire Lifestyle Podcast.
I want to thank you for having me. You are great. I love your smile. I love your voice. I love the way that you kind of relax and cool. And I love the ocean behind you and the palm trees. This is unbelievable. And just to feel your spirit and energy, just amazing. You are definitely one of the most incredible billionaires I ever met.
Thank you so much, sir. And blessings to you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not the end, because I want you guys to understand something. You know, we've kind of come through physics and said energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just transforms. Sometimes that is vital to us. But I want you guys to understand something. We're in the midst of massive change on this planet, and particularly in the United States, because this energy wants us to hate each other. It wants to hate us because we are human beings. And what I mean by that is we are HUE, which are people of color. And we are in the image of man, and we are having an experience. Thus, we are human beings. So when you think about it, much of our lives is derived by the sun. However you want to take that. The sun gives us life. Now, what I want you to really think about, as I said before, we are billionaires. 30 days into our inception, we were 1 billion cells before we hit the planet. Everything is fractal. If you get close to the mirror while your eyes are wide open, you will see that your iris is like a nebulae in the sky. We are all fractal. As above, so below. So, when you meet another person with a nebulae in their eye, like the one in the sky, treat them with love, honor, and respect. And remember that just about every doctrine and text that goes back thousands of years, they all have this one vital piece of information just for you. In their rules, they say, treat others as you want to be treated, which means love them like you love yourself. Till next time, I love you all. Peace.